Welcome to November New Moon, Bree and Mandy's Moon Ritual. We're so excited that you're joining us. The new moon is in the zodiac sign of Scorpio. And actually, the zodiac, the 12 signs, can be divided into 27 slices. If you think of a pie broken into 12, this is our zodiac. But each zodiac can be broken down to about 2.5 sections that make up the nakshatra. The nakshatra is the lunar mansion. So we can drill down just a little more into what this moon energy is all about. The nakshatra that the new moon is in is Anuradha. Anuradha is ruled or governed by the planet Saturn and also the deity Mitra, which is the divine lord of friendship. This new moon is carrying energy of friendship, loyalty, dedication, and discipline. The new moon is a time of going inward. It's a time of setting your intentions for the new waxing moon cycle to come. It's when the moon and the sun are on the same side, they're conjunct, they're together in the same sign. So the sun is also in Scorpio or Anuradha. So because they're in the same sign, the moon's not reflecting the sunlight as it does when it's full or bright. And this we feel. The moon is our intuition, it's our internal sense of things. So we too may feel like going inward. We may feel like we need some renewal. So today's asana, today's yoga practice, will include a few restorative postures that will guide us to set a new intention for the cycle ahead, but to also take care of where our energy is at today in the present moment. We'll start with a chant to the moon, and Bree's going to lead us through that today. And then we will move into the asana, and Bree will have an activity for us to help us connect and align with this moon's energy. Hi, Bree.
Hey Mandy, thank you for that intro. I always look forward to hearing what each moon, new moon, or full moon is going to bring. It gives me a sense of, I want to say control, although that has a negative connotation, but it does give me a sense of power, I guess, and just I like to know what to expect, which I think is uh, pretty common for all of us humans. So I'm going to go ahead and lead the chant today. We're going to do another call and response. So if you want to just take your seat and start to feel the ground beneath you, get settled in, and you can close your eyes or take a soft gaze forward. And just start to come inside your body and notice your breath. And then if you'd like, you can keep your hands on your knees for more grounding, or you can bring them to heart center for the chant. We'll inhale together. Om Cham Chandraye Namaha.
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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
And when you feel ready, you can slowly blink your eyes open.
Thank you, Bree, for leading us through that. Let's move to our mats and find child's pose. Find the child's pose variation of your choice today. We'll be here for a little while, and you may like a block or a blanket to rest your forehead on. The option to take big toes together and knees as wide as your mat and walk forward, resting your head on the floor or a block. And if you don't have a block with you, you could stack two fists on top of each other. If this isn't a comfortable posture for you, you could bring your knees together and allow your arms to rest down your torso. Or choose any child's pose variation that suits you today. Once you arrive, let your breath consume more of your awareness. Perhaps let your hands and feet get a little heavier into the earth. Noticing your natural breath, not needing to control or manipulate it, but just witness how your body is breathing you right now. With each inhale, breathe down into the earth. Like you're breathing with gravity, holding you here. There's no need to hold yourself up. The archetype of the moon is mother. Just imagine that gravity is holding you here just like mother would hold her child. Nothing else to do here. Let your body get a little heavier with each exhale. And from this place of quiet stillness, check in with yourself. Is there an intention you'd like to set for this moon cycle? A way that you want to feel, a goal that you're working towards? Let that come to mind and breathe it in. With each exhale, allow that to be a quality that is no longer needed. So you breathe in your intention, breathe out anything that may not align with your intention. A few more breath cycles here in child's pose. With your intention in mind, take a deep inhale. Feel the texture of your mat, or maybe the temperature of the floor beneath you. And begin to walk your hands up to a kneeling position. Sit back on your sitting bones and extend just the right leg. Left sole comes into your right inner thigh. And if you'd like to sit up on something, it can be helpful. Have a blanket or a cushion under your hips. Inhale, reach your arms up and look up, open your throat. Turn your torso over your extended leg, and with an exhale, lead from your heart and hinge from your hips to come forward. You can then bend your knee as much as you'd like here to bring your third eye, your forehead, to your knee, or use a block here at any height so that you can rest your third eye once more. Let's not strive to make this forward fold happen. Let's find your edge and rest into that. As you breathe in your intention, allow your ribs to expand laterally. Like you're breathing into your backside body. Exhaling any qualities, beliefs, mindsets that may get in the way of your intention or may hold you back. Things that keep you small or keep you from shining your light. Take one more full breath in here. Use your exhale to come all the way back up. This time we'll turn our torso over your bent knee. Use an inhale to lengthen your spine. And then exhale, begin to hinge from your hips, leading with your heart. Press down into the earth with your index finger and thumb. Stay grounded in your sitting bones. Just breathe. Nothing else to do here. Arrive into your pose, into your shape. Then soften. Take one more full breath cycle here. Stay for your exhale. And this time use the inhale and rise back up. Let's take both legs out in front and draw your toes away from your nose. And then draw your toes toward your nose. Let's do a little extension and flexion here. Maybe 2 or 3 more. When that feels complete for you, bring the opposite foot into your inner thigh. So right foot comes in. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up, and And move your jaw around a little bit here, loosening any tension held in your jaw or your neck. With an exhale, begin to hinge from your hips to fold forward. Lead from your heart, not your head. Then bend your knee so that your knee can meet your head, your third eye, or use a block on any setting. Once you arrive into your preferred shape here, begin to soften. We create stillness not by making something happen, but by softening into where we are. Breathe into your backside body. Use your next inhale to hinge from your hips and come all the way back up. And this time, turn your torso over your bent knee. Take an inhale and begin to walk forward with your exhale. Once you arrive into this shape, press down into your index finger and your thumb. Press down into all 5 fingers and the heel of your palm. Let your ribs expand with each inhale. Notice the texture, temperature of the floor or your mat beneath your hands. And then press down into the earth to come up. Our final posture today will be Supta Baddha Konasana, so reclined butterfly. If you prefer to take a more traditional Shavasana, you are welcome to do so. Really, you can find any Shavasana posture that feels good to you. If you're taking Supta Baddha Konasana, I'll give you a couple options here. You have a blanket, you could fold your blanket lengthwise. So you could rest your spine on your blanket. And I really recommend 2 blocks, one on either side of your knee or just above your knee. This will help support your lower back and your hips. And I'll invite you to choose the hand position of your choice. Perhaps one hand on your heart and one on your belly. You could take palms face down on the ground. This is helpful if you're looking for a little more grounding, if the mind has been busy. For those who need a little help for their intention this month, perhaps turn your palms up in a receiving motion, letting the universe you're ready for the message for this month's moon cycle. Then drop your thinking mind or set it aside. See if you can become a witnesser to your experience. Much like the moon overhead looking down, can you take the perspective from the moon and see you making efforts here, for renewal, for stillness. Let your body get a little heavier, trusting that gravity is holding you right where you need to be. I like to think that gravity is our reminder that we belong here inherently. We do not have to do or be anything to earn our right to be here. It already exists. In our final moments of this Shavasana, see if you can relax your body just 1 degree more. When you feel ready, begin to deepen your breath. Bring gentle micro movements back to your body. Perhaps wiggle fingers and toes or flutter eyes open. If you've been in Baddha Konasana, extend one leg at a time, slowly, and just pause. You might notice any warmth or circulation returning down your legs. And invite some bigger movements, rolling wrists and ankles or stretching arms above head. And please roll to one side and pause for a moment. Push yourself up to your seat when you're ready. When you arrive in your seat, you might just take a moment, closing your eyes, just to notice. Thank you for sharing that short yoga practice with me. I'll turn it over to Bree. I'm so excited for our new moon activity.
Thank you, Mandy. I feel very grounded and very much ready for some introspection. Now for our activity. Today we're going to need a piece of paper, maybe 2, some markers, or you could just use a pen or pencil, depending on how creative you want to get, as per usual. We're going to do a couple things before we actually start our art project. I have 2 different meditations in mind. to get things going. And the first meditation is more for someone that has a hard time imagining things while meditating. It's more of a guided physical type meditation. If that makes sense, you'll understand more when we get into it. But if you did want to pause right now and get a drink, and it could be a cold drink, a hot drink, if you like room temperature, that's what I have. It's just going to be a part of this first meditation, and then our second meditation will be more of an imaginatory experience, but similar in theme. So if you're ready, let's take a comfortable seat. And there's options for meditating. You can sit in a chair if that feels more supportive for you. I personally like to sit on the ground with a couple blankets that bring my hips up a little bit higher than my knees. Or you could do it laying down. This particular meditation, maybe not laying down since we're going to be using our beverage. But for anyone that needs to really relax, laying down is always an option too. And then again, you can close your eyes for meditation, or you can leave them open with a soft gaze forward. And so for this meditation, just listening to my cues is all you need to do. And you can choose throughout the meditation what you participate in and what you decide to just kind of imagine. So coming back down into your body, notice your seat on the ground. Notice any parts of your body touching your seat or touching the ground. This meditation is designed to be short and sweet. We're going to go through each sense. It's a sensory guide. But just for now, let's focus on our breath. Notice the unaltered breath without labeling it or trying to change it. Just allow yourself to notice where it goes in your body. Maybe the temperature as you inhale compared to as you exhale. And then for this meditation, I'll have you open your eyes and grab your beverage and hold it between two hands. We're going to first focus this part of the meditation on your sight. So you can look down at your beverage, pay attention to the shape, maybe name the shape, maybe the color of your beverage, maybe notice what your cup looks like. Maybe notice what your hands look like around your cup. And just for about 30 more seconds, if your mind starts to wander away from sight, bring it back. Maybe choose one particular spot on your cup or your hands to really focus in on. And then we'll move on to the next sense, which is touch. We're going to keep holding our cup, but if you want to, for this For honing in a little bit more deeply into touch, you could close your eyes. And so noticing the touch of your cup against your hands. This is a good time to notice the temperature of your cup, maybe how that differs from the temperature in your hands. You could maybe go from finger to finger, noticing the touch of your thumb against your cup, your pointer finger, your middle finger, your ring finger, and then your pinky finger. And just for about 20 more seconds, if your mind wanders, come back to a part of your hand touching the cup. Maybe just focus on one part of your hand, maybe the palm of your hand. And then shifting our awareness to the sense of sound. So you can choose to keep your eyes closed or you can open them. It's up to you. And start to notice any sounds in your room. Keep the awareness close to you at first. Maybe even noticing the sound of your breath. And then maybe bringing your awareness outward slowly, noticing any sounds outside of the room. And then maybe expanding to outside of your home or wherever it is that you are. Just continue to kind of use your hearing as a radar and bringing that outward. And then for these last 10 seconds, bring the sounds back inward. Come back close to your body, noticing the room, noticing the inside of your body. And then we're going to switch senses and come to the sense of smell. And so this might be a time to open your eyes and bring your beverage close to you so you can actually smell it. And if there's no particular smell to your drink, you could just notice the absence of smell. So honing in a little bit more on the sense of smell. Notice the breath coming in and out your nose. Maybe feeling the follicles in your nostrils, which are part of how we sense this smell. And just for a few more seconds, even if your mind is wandering, bring it back to your nose, to anything you might smell or not smell. And then lastly, we'll come to the sense of taste. So first, I'll have you do a little experiment where you run the tongue along your gums. So coming along the tops of your gums, maybe the roof of your mouth. This is supposed to bring in some more saliva to the mouth. Maybe you could swallow that if that feels right. And then we'll go ahead and take a sip of your beverage. Maybe keep it in your mouth for a second or two before you swallow it. And notice again that sense of taste. And then after you do swallow it, notice the difference in taste. The mouth coming back to that neutral taste before you had a sip of your drink. And then maybe let's take one more sip. And you can set your cup down next to you. Bring your hands back into your lap. And come back to your breathing. Come back to noticing your seat. And when you feel ready, you can slowly blink your eyes open. Okay, so for the second meditation, we're going to be relying more on our imagination and memory. So again, if you want to take a comfortable seat, and this meditation could be done from any posture. So if you feel like laying down is a better option for you, feeling comfortable in meditation, you can definitely choose to do that. I'm sitting still on my blankets on the ground, or you could sit in a chair if that is more supportive for you. So coming inside, you can close your eyes or you can take a soft gaze forward. And coming into your body, we'll notice the ground, our seat against the ground. And then notice the breath coming in and out of the body without trying to control it or change it. It's coming into that state of being. And then I'd like you to come inside your mind. And if anyone is like me, whose dreams seem to change with the phases, I'm not sure if it's the phases of the moon or just the phases of my life, but I'd like you to imagine the last time you had a weird dream. And this is not necessarily a scary dream or a good dream. It's kind of something in the middle, something that you woke up and you're like, that was a really weird dream. And if you're not able to imagine, maybe you're a person that doesn't dream. If you're that person, I'd like you to imagine the last time you were really embarrassed. And this could be a memory that goes really far back. I feel like maybe it's a little bit easier on your memory if you think of the last time or something more recent. But it's totally up to you. And you can kind of fish around in your mind before you decide which you're going to really focus on for the rest of the meditation. So I'll give you a few moments to think about either a weird dream or the last time you felt really embarrassed. And then holding on to that memory in your mind. Don't worry if you can only remember bits and pieces. Just we're going to go through again the senses of the body, of the physical body, and try to imagine what those senses might hold in the dream. Maybe you could imagine the senses you felt after you woke up from the dream, or even after living the embarrassing moment. So in your mind, as much as you can, we're going to come to this site, the sense of sight. So any flashes that you can remember, try to visualize that as much as you can. And if all you see is black, just focus on that. You can become really physical and notice your eyelids closed, or maybe even open them and notice whatever you notice within your room. And just for a few more seconds, bringing your awareness again and again back to this sense of sight, trying to visualize as much as you can about your weird dream or your embarrassing moment. And then we will switch over to the sense of touch. So this time I'll bring you first into your physical body, noticing anything, the touch of your body on the ground or your hands in your lap. Again, maybe the touch of your eyelids over your eyes. And then if you can, imagine coming back to that weird dream and maybe imagining what you could touch in the dream, what that might feel like. Maybe you can remember a piece of furniture. Maybe you can remember the environment that you were in, how it might feel to stand in that environment. Maybe you could even imagine the temperature, feeling that temperature against your skin. Just for a few more seconds, if your mind wanders, just keep bringing it back to that sense of touch. And then we'll switch senses over to sound, and the ability to hear, coming into that imagination scene, maybe imagining what you might hear in this weird dream or in this embarrassing moment in time. Maybe imagine the conversation that you had. Maybe the sound of the wind around you, depending on where you're at. And again, if your mind wanders, just coming back to that sense of sound. And even noticing again the sounds around you in the room where you're at in this moment. And then we will transition to the sense of smell. So you could physically notice the sense of smell in the present moment. Focusing on the present moment could help you to ground if the thing you're imagining is maybe getting a little too intense in your brain. But if you can tolerate it, come back to that imaginatory event and imagine any smells that might be around, maybe the smell of grass or nature if you're outside. Maybe the smell of something cooking or the odor of a person you remember, somebody close to you. Or if there's no sense of smell coming at all, just notice that. Notice the absence of smell. Maybe just notice the breath coming in and out of your nostrils. And then lastly, coming to this sense of taste. So in order to bring more awareness to the mouth, you could run your tongue along the gums, along your teeth, along the top of your mouth, building saliva in your mouth. Maybe swallow that. Maybe lick your lips and just continue to notice anything you can about tasting. And coming back to that imaginatory event, maybe just imagining what you can taste. Sometimes, if we can imagine the sense of smell strong enough, you can taste that smell in your mouth. So maybe it's something like that. Or maybe just coming back to the mouth and really just focusing on the tongue and all parts of your mouth. And then coming back to that awareness of the breath. Notice any changes in your breathing, where it's going in your body now. Notice the seat that you're in, the ground supporting your seat, the ground supporting your body in any way that it's positioned. And then when you feel ready, you can slowly blink your eyes open. And so with this piece of paper and colors or whatever you have to write with, I'd like you to try and draw a picture of your dream or the embarrassing memory that came to mind. This picture is just for you, so there's no judgment of what comes up. You could get as specific as you want or as abstract as you want, just using maybe colors that came to mind or kind of drawing how your body felt as you remembered. So I'll give you a couple minutes to do as much as you feel you'd like to. As you continue to draw, maybe just feel into your body a little bit. Make sure you stay grounded. Remind yourself not to judge what's going down on the paper, just kind of allowing the flow of the pen against the paper to happen in whatever way shows up. So maybe taking 30 more seconds to look at your paper and see if there's any last changes you'd like to make, or just kind of just looking at what you put down and taking a little moment of pride for showing up for yourself in this way. Sometimes doing these activities don't feel as potent until after the fact. But just showing up is what matters to me and Mandy. So you're doing awesome. I did this meditation earlier today. I have a hard time doing it while I'm teaching. So, but I did want to kind of share uh, what I put down. I had a very weird dream. I've been having some weird dreams lately. Last night, I'm not going to get into the details of it, but super weird. These are porta potties that I couldn't fit into in my dream. This is my husband on a football field. Um, I had some themes of jealousy, was trying to get back to the game we were playing. It was like a co-ed flag football game, and it was just this like going back and forth between frustration and jealousy in my mind throughout this dream. And I'll open it up to Mandy if she wants to share anything that she put down or.
Thank you, Bree. Yeah, this activity was really had a lot of depth to it, and so I appreciate you sharing your dream. I also used my dream from last night, but it was so vague. So I find this really interesting, and I'll share it with you. You can see how vague it is. Yes. So I had this sense of these like boxes floating into my dream, and so they're coming in. That's why they're on one side of the paper here, and they're not even like complete. Well, maybe this one made it all the way into the consciousness, but this one is still making its way. And are they stair steps? Are they YouTube tiles or thumbnails? I don't know what this is. Um, but the boxes are empty, and I found that really interesting. And I'm curious, Bree, what is the sound of worry? Because that is what kind of, when I really tried to zero into that like sense of sound, where it really seemed like there was the absence of sound. And so I let myself notice and feel into that. But then I said, okay, but if there was a sound here, what is that sound? And perhaps being in the room that I'm in, there's electronics and there's a hum that was happening in my physical environment here. But it had like this sensation when I listened to like the sound of like a little pinch of worry. And so I thought that that was very intriguing to sense into maybe what my worry is around these boxes. And then I remember, like you always say in our moon ritual, that There really isn't anything that has to be done with this. Bringing it to my conscious memory or my consciousness right here, right now, I think is enough. Maybe we need to do the
Yeah.
dream ritual every morning. Can we jump on and do a little dream ritual together and just draw our dreams? Because it's very, very powerful, as you said.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's similar to probably journaling your dreams, which I try to do, but find it difficult. I don't wake up in the most energetic version of myself, so journaling is hard at that time of day. But and then you end up forgetting most of what happened in your dream if you go too far, just like most memories. But I would like to try one more thing with this piece of paper. Um, and I was also going to suggest that you could journal. Me and Mandy shared with each other and with you what we think or what we were feeling as we kind of did this activity. So you could stop and journal about that if you'd like, or you could share it with your friends, whatever you want to do with it. Um, but for one more time, I'd like you to look at your picture and just notice what you put down. Maybe notice how you feel in your body as you look at it. And then I want you to take the piece of paper into your two hands. And in whatever way you'd like, you're going to rip up the paper.
I have some feelings about this.
So this moon, as Mandy relayed to me all the information about the moon, one of the parts of the moon is to let go of possessiveness and control over what happens in our lives. So I thought we could do this ripping meditation. We could call it a ripping meditation. And like Mandy just said, she's having feelings about this. So just notice those feelings and where they are in your body as you continue to rip, or if you feel like you've ripped it enough, you can just throw the pieces in front of you and maybe look at them. And again, notice your body, notice how it feels, notice the reaction to letting go of this possession, this drawing that we made for ourselves is most likely just going to go in the trash now. So, how does that feel to let go of this little thing? And it could be a big thing. I don't want to minimize anybody's experience of this activity and what it meant to you. So, whether it's a little thing or a big thing, just notice how you felt about it. And that could be something else that you journal about or just keep in the back of your mind. Um, you know, how do you react to letting go of something so physical? As we always talk about letting go of things, like in a sense of I don't know how to describe it, but just I feel like this is more of a really letting go of something, like almost like when we let go of possessions, like we donate old clothing, or you could even go as far to remember when you lost something that you really treasured. So there's a wide range of feelings when we let go of things, and a part of all of this is just to notice how you react. And I think with yoga, one of the goals is to do that, just to notice and be okay with how you react. So that's the end of our activity for today. And I am going to draw a tarot card for this moon. I think it's fun to do it, so I think we should keep it as a tradition. And Mandy, if there's anything else you want to share about your feelings, or you could just leave it at what you already verbalized.
Yeah, I think, sitting with it in front of me, I do have a sense of lightness. There's this saying that I keep coming back to lately, which is none of this matters. And again, not to minimize what maybe somebody else put down, but sometimes, I had that struggle at first. And then once it was done and it's in front of me, it's just like, yeah, it, it's a release. It doesn't need to be carried and held. Not everything needs to be carried and held. So yeah, I feel a little lighter in my body.
So thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
All right, drawing our card. Four of Swords. My initial reaction to this card is that I feel like it's the perfect new moon card because, as Mandy said, the new moon is about going inside and following your intuition. She kind of looks like she's just decided to sleep in. And I think we all have those days where we just need a little bit more rest. Okay, I'll look up the meaning. So the first description of this card is a time of deep rest, transmutation of shadow, healing from burnout, taking a brief holiday from your reality, renewal, and self-love. So those are some interesting keywords there. I'll read the entire script here. This deep resting period in your life marks a moment of intentional healing and self-care. More than just integral to your wellness, it is integral to your being at this time, body, mind, and spirit. How you heal is your choice, and you can find quiet regeneration through sleep or other restorative practices like meditation, journaling, or energy healing. Consciously decide to slow down and process before sprinting ahead. The hustle can be tumultuous and demanding, and the only person who can really direct your own radical recovery is you. Tend to your wounds as you may be on the verge of burnout. Your nest will grow around you as you sleep, and the landscape of your life will shift beautifully as you fall into your own rejuvenating energy. In your dream state, you will transmute and transform your experiences and emerge renewed, whole, and ready to rise. But first, you must rest. And the mantra for this card is, I give myself permission to slow down and heal.
It's never a surprise to me, right? When we get to the end of our ritual and we pull the card and it was like, oh yeah, here it is in front of us the whole time. And that's one thing I love about these moon rituals is not only are they helping us align with the moon's energy, or it's helping to validate our energy with the moon, but it is also a time of, what you've laid out for us, introspection, rest, renewal, and that we're being divinely guided. The nest in that picture, her laying in the nest, this is the moon, the mother, the being held by something greater than ourselves, whether that is our highest self or a greater source energy. We are being guided, and everything is happening for us and not to us. It doesn't always feel that way, though. Thank you, Bree, for the meditations on the senses and also the art activity. It's brought a lot to my awareness, and I'm excited to see how my intuition works through this moon cycle. The next full moon is on December 4th, and it will be in the sign of Taurus, specifically the nakshatra of Rohini. Rohini is the moon's favorite nakshatra. So the moon loves to go to Rohini. I'll tell you more about the mythology of the moon through the nakshatras another time. But for now, just know the moon is looking forward to being full and bright with Rohini. If you enjoyed this moon ritual, we do hope that you'll subscribe and join us next time to align with the moon. All right. Thank you for sharing your time and energy with us. I will see you in a couple weeks.